Well, good morning, and happy Monday. All systems are go. I'm looking down at my right hand here, and this bad boy is working today versus yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday. Yakking my brains out and no sound. So, learning this system as we move along. So, good morning, and what's new this Monday? I thought we would kind of take a step back and look at what this channel is trying to do. And I know everybody's trying to find out what's going on in this crazy real estate world and going to YouTube and trying to find some answers and take a look at the future. So we're trying to predict where the market's going, see if we can see any numbers where we need to say, whoops, hey, there's something changing. We need to find the data. And then we need to, when we're looking at, let me turn this off for just a moment. When we're looking at the numbers and we're looking at some of the videos and stuff that you see on YouTube, you also need to determine some of those people that are putting out the videos are looking at long-term macro growth projections. And some are just looking for short-term, what can I get into a house today? Should I wait 6 months? And some are targeting investors, looking for return on investment. So you really kind of have to take a look at what you're seeing. And I put links below of 3 guys that I follow that I like that kind of give me 3 different perspectives on what's going on. One in Southern California, one here in Arizona. He concentrates a lot on rentals and the market in general and for investors. And so the lot has changed in the last 3 months, where you remember me telling you that that the over 55 community was not seeing the bidding wars. Well, that party's over. It is not at the scale of what we see outside of the over 55 communities, but people are bidding those homes up. Now, today we have 5,059 homes on the market. 4,179 came on in the past 7 days, of which 4,017 went under contract, only a difference of 142 homes. Again, tiny numbers. But in the past 3 months, things have really escalated. And why is that? And it's because of this. You can see right here, this is March. See, those yellow numbers are above the blue numbers. The blue numbers, 7-day moving average of listings that were coming up, were being exceeded by listings going under contract. And so that shrank supply. So that activity in March pushed up prices in April and now in May. Now, if we go to today, you can see that the blue line is consistently above the yellow line, but the yellow line's kind of starting to creep back up, right? So there's no relief in sight. So prices have gone up, and there isn't much of a divergence to say that we're going to see anything level out anytime soon. And if we take a look and we go to the Cromford Index and the Cromford Report, they show you here, and it's kind of an eye chart, but this is ranking by annual average per square foot now. So Paradise Valley leads the charge here at $490.07 per square foot versus last year at $438, a change of 11.8%. And you can see these different changes versus last year. Waddell's up 20% down here. But then you go to the bottom. So who's at the bottom? It's Coolidge, 116. So the farther away you get from Phoenix Metro, the lower per square foot, which, with the rare exception right now of let's see, where did I find it here? There's Mesa and Apache Junction. Apache Junction is now $196 per square foot, and Mesa's $193. So Apache Junction is further out than Mesa. So, but they're building some nice stuff out there, and the views are great of the Superstition Mountains. So they're getting a good chunk of change. So Apache Junction is up 20.6%. Again, this is all happening. This is all happening because of March and April. Barry says, in over 55 communities, have you seen any pushback over the approximate $3,500 cap fee, the capital improvement? Well, let's explain what the capital improvement fee is. Yes and no. Capital improvement fee, there's an HOA transfer fee whenever you go into an HOA community. It's about $400. Then they have a capital improvement fee, and that is whenever they change ownership, the buyers come in and pay this capital improvement fee, which helps maintain and improve their clubhouse, tennis courts, restaurants, everything that they have in this community. So it's a great way for them to raise a lot of cash between the transfer of sales, because there's a lot of activity, versus hitting everybody with a special assessment. So once you move in, that's it. You don't have a special assessment that says, hey, we need to put a new roof on the clubhouse, or hey, we're going to expand the clubhouse. We're going to do a special assessment. We're going to hit you all with $1,000 this year. So that's what the capital improvement fee is. And they vary by Sun City, Sun Lakes, Trilogy. And so it says, you'll know right away coming up front, that's part of the down payment. So, but I haven't had anybody push back on it for me. They just kind of know going in. What we're seeing though is, on a $400,000 house now, and you put 5% down, that's $20,000 down payment. But then people are waiving the appraisals. So they're putting this appraisal gap language in there. And if you don't happen to hit the appraisal price of what you offered them, let's say you offered them $450, the appraisal came in at $430, and you got to come up with that $20,000 to cover it, cash at the closing table. That's just cash. That's like an additional down payment. So it's another 5%. And so it's kind of sad to see that your cash has to go towards closing a gap versus just, trying to lower your get down below 80% so you don't have any PMI insurance. But Running at Altitude says, Rick, currently, how long does it take to build a new tract home around 1,600 square feet? From a tract style builder, I'm being told 6 to 8 months. And it's a supply side issue. They can't get the materials. They can't seem to find the help. So it's about 6 to 8 months. That's why in this YouTube channel, down in the bottom in this, below the video, you're going to see links for not only the people that I follow, but there's a link to a place called Tweener Homes that you can rent while you're waiting for your home to be built. Now, where do I get my information, and where can you get your information? As we look at tracking the numbers, obviously you don't have any access to the Cromford report. So I kind of go to Realtor.com just to see what else is back there. And so you can go to Realtor.com and you can look at research, real estate market outlook, luxury housing, haunted market. And here's generational propensity. This is a new one I haven't seen. So they're saying who's getting the mortgages right now. And the largest group, believe it or not, is the ages between 25 and 34. And they have a bit of an eye chart down here that shows by city. Here's Phoenix. Can't really, I could explain that, but it's showing you the largest dot right here is that age group. But you go down here a little bit farther, and then it shows you, here's the top zip codes for 18 to 24-year-olds. This is where they're buying. And you'll notice that they're farther out because there's more affordability. Here's the zip codes for 25 to 34-year-olds. And that's in San Francisco. Who gives a crud? Let's see. Let me go to Phoenix here. I had it in Phoenix for a moment. There we go. Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale. This will make sense in uno momento. Here it comes. There we go. So zips for 25 to 34-year-olds. Shows them here. So zips for 35 to 44, 45 to 54, and here you get down to over 55. And what do you see there? You see Sun City, Eloy, Casa Grande, Carefree, Wickenburg. Then over 65, Sun City, Tucson, Sun City, Rio Verde, Eloy. They're going out and getting into the retirement community. Kind of an interesting chart. The other interesting chart that I look at, and I've put the link into this and the link to this one. If I don't have this one, I'm going to check. But this is from the IRS. This is called howmoneywalks.com. The IRS tracks where the money is. Remember when I said last week, money moves? When you change tax policy, money moves. Well, here you go. The red states are money moving, and they track this by gross income. It's very, very interesting. If you click on the state of Arizona, it shows you we gained $42.7 billion since 2018 in annual gross income. Where did we get that? $11.98 billion from California, then Illinois, New York State, Minnesota, and Michigan. So California is the biggest contributor. Now people are leaving Arizona too. Where are they going? 299 million, pretty small number. This is in gross income. We're going to Texas. Then Idaho, South Carolina, Arkansas, and Tennessee. So that is an interesting number. And you get to watch up here, and it's showing you 2,700 Well, I'll read it fast. 3 grand of adjusted gross income gained in the last 42 seconds. And you can go state by state. And you can take a look here and say, well, what's happening in California? Well, California, they've gained wealth from New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Everybody's leaving Illinois. Now you can see that they lost wealth to Nevada, Texas, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington. So the largest chunk here of California exodus is to Nevada, $16.9 billion. And you can see that most of it's coming from San Bernardino County. And they really aren't fleeing up here in El Dorado. They're leaving Sacramento County, Alameda County, and Santa Clara, and Los Angeles County, and Kern County. Down here in Riverside County, they're pretty much staying put. And Orange County, they're bailing as well. So you get to drill down and see actually where they're leaving. And you can do this state by state. But let's take a look at Illinois. Where are those people going? Well, they got people moving there from Iowa, Ohio, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. But look at the numbers, how small they are, 510 million versus the exodus of 15.9 billion to Florida and 5.7. So they're not moving from Illinois to California. It's kind of like 5.4 billion. Texas, and 4.87 billion to Arizona, and then just popping over to the neighboring state of Wisconsin. We go back and take a look at New York. I'm going to guess it's all Florida. And they're going to Florida, 33.3 billion, zipping on down there to warm up and get away from the taxes. And I think New York has a tax that actually follows you if you leave. 20.2 billion in New Jersey. They're just crossing the bridge. I don't think they're getting a lot of tax relief there. Gain wealth from DC, District of Columbia, 137 million, and Missouri of all places. So it's an interesting chart. Have fun with that. Look around, see what you can glean off that data. It's we all hear Californians are driving our market. Well, yeah, maybe. We'll take a look at it again here, and California is definitely contributing 11.9 billion to our gross income. So it's fun stuff. Where money moves. I was talking with my son yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about taxes, because the last thing you ever want to do about talking to younger kids is politics and taxes. But I said, money moves. If they have a high tax here, people move where there's a low tax. It's just the way the world works. If you have the ability to move. Now, he's an animator, so he doesn't have the ability to move. He has to work in that studio. He can't leave Burbank, and he can't afford anything out there, so it's kind of tough for him. He said if he was in Arizona, he'd be in a position to buy and everything would be great, but he can't pick up their studio and bring it to Arizona. So we talked about, well, do you think they'll move to places like Austin, Texas? And they don't, because in their studio, they can pretty much do that anywhere. Robot Chicken's owned by Seth Green, so they have these little studios where they do this stop motion animation, but they bring in a lot of voice actors. So, celebrities that come in and do the voice acting. So they're not going to be able to just fly them to Austin, Texas, or to Idaho to do voice acting. So they want to be in Southern California so that people can do that. So I went a little off the rails talking about Arizona real estate, but it tells you that sometimes people that want to relocate just can't. And the ones that can are fleeing. Now, when we look ahead, we know today, what's ahead? We know today that 3 months from now, real estate is going to be up 10%. We know that because the numbers have not changed, and the trajectory that we're on now is going to stay. So that we know. Now, it's going to take something really catastrophic to blow up the financial industry for that to change quickly. Interest rates would have to skyrocket. Banks would have to fail. Something would have to happen really quick for that number to change in what we're looking at 3 months. So if you're looking at something now and it's $400,000 now, rest assured, 3 months from now, it's going to be $440,000. So if you see a house that looks like you think it might be overpriced, as a seller, they're going, well, I'll just wait it out then. They're going to wait. Days on market don't hit us as bad as it used to. Now, 6 months out, well, in order for prices to start leveling off 6 months from now, we're going to have to see that inventory number grow from 5,000 to probably about 10,000. So as we watch that number, if we see it come up to 10,000, then it's very safe to say, well, that's going to affect things in about 4 to 6 months. That's a given. Will it be a price decrease? Probably not. It'll probably be a decrease in the percentage. In other words, instead of going up at 10% every 3 months, maybe we'll go up 2.5 when we get those inventory numbers. So it's easy when inventory goes up to go back and see why. It's easier to do it that way than to say, well, what will make inventory go up? We just don't know. We're all guessing. That's why I log on every morning and go, well, did it change? Nope. Well, there's nothing to look at then. I mean, just if it went up, we're going to be able to go in and say, wait, is it because of the forbearances? Did they come out? Are all of a sudden these rentals starting to hit the market? So we'll be able to dissect it then and say, where is this inventory coming from and which zip code and what price range? So when the inventory comes up, we're going to be able to look at a pretty detailed picture. But until then, until that changes, nothing to look at. Now, if you're selling your home and you're thinking of selling, you're trying to think of selling at the peak. I get it. But you also want to be able to buy something else, so you're a little hesitant. If you see inventory starting to come up, it goes from 5,000 to 7,000, that should be a signal that maybe you should start putting your house on the market now when it peaks, because that number is not going to be available to the general public. They're not going to feel it for a few more months down the road. But you know, because you're tracking the inventory numbers, that it's starting to go up. Maybe I should sell now before it gets in excess and you have a lot of competition. Now, right now, when you're trying to figure out how to price your home, trust me when I tell you, it really doesn't matter. When a real estate agent comes in and gives you all this data and looks at past comps and stuff, we need to do that to get a general idea. But I think it's just safer to say, what's your range? Your house is worth between 400 and 465. Where you price it is not as critical now as it used to be a few years ago, because no matter where you price it, you're going to have 10 people come in and tell you what it's worth. They're going to be writing you offers above your asking price if you're priced lower, or right at your asking price if you're priced, a little bit higher. But the market is going to tell you right away. So it's not as critical that you interview 4 realtors and go with the one that gives you the highest price, because they're just guessing. You're looking at the amount of homes that are going over list price in your zip code, which is my guess, probably 75%. And then you can say, well, according to the comps of homes that have sold in the last 3 months, here's what your home is worth. Well, that was the last 3 months. And it can change on a weekly basis. We saw that with appraisals coming in 2 weeks ago. At a house that was 625, we bid, I think it was 665 or 650, 655, 653, something like that. And the appraisal came in at 663. And that only changed because of 3 homes that sold a week before a week after the appraisal was done. So it updated quickly. So trying to figure out the value of your home is a little bit challenging, but you're just in a range. So just go ahead and just say, I'm going to put it on the market for this, and those 10, 15 people and the 60 people that look at the house and the 10 offers you get are going to tell you what your price is going to be. So it's a little easier for you. So again, just to recap, if your inventory, you see it starting to go up, that's your signal, sellers, that you need to jump in now and go, because you may end up with, instead of 60 people looking at your house, you may end up with only 40. But then in 2 months, it's going to decline. Instead of selling your home 2 days, it might take 5 days. And it's going to go up, up, and up. Once that news starts creeping out there that homes are on the market longer, that's when that peak pricing is going to start leveling off. So if you're thinking of selling, sell at the first indication that you see inventory climbing. So I hope that helps. Hey, join me tomorrow. We're talking to Sam DeGreen with DeGreen Financial. It's always fun to get a large view of the economy with him and taxation. You can bet that he's going to complain about some of the proposals to raise taxes, but we're going to look and see. I want to see what his view is. Are these inflation numbers here to stay, or are they temporary because of supply side issues? How's that going to affect real estate? What do you think? Do you still view real estate as a good investment? Remember, there's a difference between investment and having it as a home. So what does he think about having the long-term view of having it as a home, and is there any risk there? And if you're a real estate investor now, would you play in the real estate arena? So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. He's really a fun guy. We should have a good time. Everybody have a fabulous Monday. And we'll see you tomorrow.